Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have a fun Thanksgiving themed tier tray for you today. But first, don't forget to do all the YouTube things like, subscribe, the bell to be notified when I post new videos, and share with your friends. I appreciate it. Okay, today I'm going to show you how I made this adorable little blue Thanksgiving tier tray to get ready for Thanksgiving. Okay, the first DIY we're going to do is one of these metal yard stakes from the Dollar Tree that says Give Thanks. And I am going to make my own chalk paint using acrylic paint, 2 ounces, 2.5 teaspoons of calcium carbonate, and 1 tablespoon of water. And I'm mixing several different colors together because I really want that really pretty aqua blue color to use today for my tier tray. So to use this yard stake that I got at the Dollar Tree, I just pry off the bar on the back. And I thought I would just add a touch of blue to this just by repainting the orange border of the pumpkin with this blue color. Just to bring in some blue color. You know, I love my coastal decor, and I'm trying to incorporate blue into all of my Thanksgiving decorations. Now, you didn't think Thanksgiving would get past me without doing a Thanksgiving tier tray, right? No way, period. This was my tier tray that I had decorated for Halloween, so it's definitely outdated. So now I am ready for Thanksgiving. It took 2 coats of my homemade chalk paint to get that covered, and that's pretty much all I'm going to do for that. It's fairly large, so I'm going to use this for the top of my tier tray, and that's pretty much all I'm going to need for the top. And it's got that cute little scene on there with a little bicycle. Now, I want to do a little distress, so I'm going to do a little whitewash. I took some ivory acrylic paint, 1 part paint to 2 parts water, and I just did a really simple whitewash. I just wanted a very light distress on that blue, and I'm going to do that on a lot of my projects. I got this adorable little stacked pumpkins at the Dollar Tree, and the only thing I'm going to do to this is repaint the brown stem and brown leaves to that pretty blue color, just to kind of bring in a touch of that aqua color again. And this is a really cute little stacked pumpkin I got at the Dollar Tree. Everything that I'm using for this tier tray today came from the Dollar Tree, including this cute little turkey. The only thing I'm going to do with it is update it. I want to give it a little punch of that aqua color too. And so I'm going to use that homemade chalk paint to repaint the base. I'm going to leave the turkey the original color. It's actually painted pretty well for being from the Dollar Tree. And I just wanted to give it a little bit of punch of color to make it go with everything else on our Thanksgiving tier tray. I love Thanksgiving, and I'm mainly doing a lot of turkey themed. I'm not really going to do any food themed on this one. I did touch up its beak a little bit with an orange paint pen just because it was chipped slightly. And I am going to go in and distress whitewash this as well, which really brought out the cute texture. There was like a sunflower painted on the base and stuff too. And all of the items for the tier tray today are from the Dollar Tree, except I think I do have 1 thrift find. So just getting that dry, and he is ready to go. Super easy. I love it when I can find some turkey stuff from the Dollar Tree because it's kind of hard to find sometimes. Now, this is for Thanksgiving. It's one of those little wood pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, and it does have a Thanksgiving saying on there, but it's glitter, and you know I can't stand that. So I'm going to kind of leave that on the back to kind of make it a 2-sided sign. But I'm just going to work on the back and do my own thing. So, of course, I have to take the little tag off. I'm using my heat gun to help scrape that off. And then I'm just going to update the color of this. It was pretty close, but I want it all to be this pretty aqua color. So I'm just going to repaint it with that chalk paint. And I will try to include the link to the recipe for the chalk paint below and a link for the calcium carbonate. I get it on Amazon and it is way cheaper than buying chalk paint. Now, the next thing I'm going to add is one of these glass decals from the Dollar Tree that says Grateful, Thankful, Blessed. It's super cute, but it's meant for glass. It's not meant for wood, but I really wanted it to be on wood. So I'm just scraping it and then checking to see if it transfers, and then scraping it some more. And if you scrape it good enough, you can get it to go on wood, even though it's not glass. And that's what I did. And it worked really well. It came through really good. And then my stem's kind of messed up from the glue that was on there before. So I'm just going to take a little piece of jute twine and glue that on and wrap it around, just to give that a little bit more of a finishing touch. And I think that it needs a little bit of a leaf. So I'm just going to take a random leaf I have off of an old plant that I got at the Target dollar spot and just kind of hot glue that to the side just to give it a cute little pumpkin leaf. And then finally, I'm going to whitewash this one as well with that ivory acrylic paint that is mixed with water. And I went a little heavy on this, so I'm kind of wiping off some and kind of just getting it distressed to my liking. This is kind of the same as my normal distress, except I already kind of have the water in there instead of using the baby wipes. So this little pillow that I got at the Dollar Tree as well for Thanksgiving, and it's perfect. It's like meant to hang on doorknobs, I think, so I'm just going to cut the twine off and ready to go. Okay, our next Dollar Tree DIY is this little turkey. It's one of those little turkey boxes. I really don't like these because they're not big enough to really do anything with. And so I didn't really want to paint all inside everything there. So I'm trying to take it apart just by using my heat gun and trying to break it apart. I just want the turkey that has like the more detail with the eyes and face cut out. And so I'm just going to use that part for my next DIY. But if you wanted to leave the box together, you totally could. And I am going to give it a coat of this beautiful aqua paint that we painted. And then to get it to stand up on my tier tray, I'm just going to hot glue it onto one of these little wood blocks from the Dollar Tree. And that's easier than painting that whole box that I really didn't have anything to put in. And then I'm going to attach one of these little wood give thanks from the fall section at the Dollar Tree. It came in the little package of words to the front of our turkey. I'm not going to paint it or anything. I'm just going to leave it natural wood. And I'm really going for that aqua color with like the browns and the oranges for this tier tray. So I'm trying to stay in that color scheme for everything. And of course I'm going to go back in there and distress it with a whitewash and wipe off the excess just to give it a slightly distressed beachy vibe. And I'm really excited about Thanksgiving. I hope you are too. I do have at least one more Thanksgiving video planned, a Thanksgiving tablescape, coastal Thanksgiving tablescape. And this next one is a pumpkin that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's one of those velvet ones, and it's perfect. Don't have to do anything to it. Okay, I wanted to do another pumpkin, and again, glitter. This one I want to decoupage with a napkin. So I'm going to use the back again, and I am going to use my heat gun to try to remove that tag. And I'm going to use a turkey napkin that I actually got at Target, I think. And I'm going to Mod Podge that on carefully to my pumpkin. Now, when you're Mod Podging napkins, you got to be kind of careful. And I kind of messed up the first one, so this is my second attempt. It was a 2-layer napkin. You got to be really sure that you take the layers apart and you're only working with one layer to get it to work right. And then I'm going to carefully use my sanding block to sand off the excess napkin. And very carefully trying not to rip it. Now, you really don't want to Mod Podge on top of that because it will wrinkle like crazy. But I am going to try to distress it with this whitewash because it's way too bright compared to everything else on my tier tray, and I want it to be kind of more muted. This did slightly wrinkle the napkin, but it kind of worked because it was kind of like on like the turkey neck part where the skin should kind of be wrinkly. And this is going to give me a cute little turkey pumpkin. Just wiping off the excess paint and distressing a little bit more on the bottom to try to get an even distressing on my turkey. Now I want to fix the stem again, so I'm going to use a piece of twine again and some hot glue and just wrap that around and glue that down. And I'm going to go ahead and distress the sides as well and glue on another leaf like I did on the first little pumpkin. Just a couple leaves that I had just to give it a little bit of a pumpkin leaf feel there. And that's going to be our second little wood pumpkin for our tier tray. I think he turned out really cute. He's nice and muted, but that's kind of what I was going for. This is a monogrammed pumpkin that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's wood, and I don't think I need to do anything to it. Now, this is my thrift find. Look at this adorable little turkey basket that I found at the thrift store for, I think I had it for $1. And I'm just going to use my random leftover pumpkins and gourds that I got at the Dollar Tree and just kind of mix colors and sizes and shapes. Some of those were actually from Target Dollar Spot as well. Just whatever I had left over. Kind of using more gourds on the top because that kind of goes with the Thanksgiving vibe. And that's all there is to that. And I also got this great pumpkin at the Dollar Tree. Look at the beautiful colors on this. It's got the orange and the brown that I'm going with. So I'm not going to do anything to it as well. And then I thought I would use some of these fall autumn leaves from the Dollar Tree for filler. Okay, I'm going to make a Thanksgiving beaded garland, but it's going to be a super easy one. I'm going to use some of these wood beads from the Dollar Tree. Yes, I got them at the Dollar Tree, but they are hard to find. I've only seen them there one time, unfortunately. But if you see them, grab them. And then I just have a little gourd I have left over, and I am just attaching that to one end of the beaded garland, and then I am going to make a very simple little tassel for the other end just by wrapping it around my hand until it's full enough, tying that off on one end, and then I cut the other end to give me a tassel, and then I need some more twine to wrap around the top and tie that off and give that finished tassel look. And I don't know, this was kind of a sloppy tassel, but it worked. I kind of wanted it to look very rustic. And so we'll have that little gourd on one end, and we'll have a tassel on the other end. And I'll tie that to the other end of the wood bead garland. And I'm not going to paint the wood bead garland or anything. I'm just going to leave it that natural wood. I think it goes with the vibe of the Thanksgiving decor and makes the project even easier. I really hope the Dollar Trees are able to get more of these wood bead garlands in because they are great value for $1. They really are. So once I get that on there, I am just trying to finish that off. I don't know. I don't know why I struggled with that tassel so much, but I'm just going to use a little hot glue to glue that little loose piece down and try to glue the gourd to the wood bead garland a little bit so it will hang properly. Okay, guys, I wanted to decorate the sides of my tier tray, and so I'm going to use some of this burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and it's that same beautiful aqua color that I incorporated in a lot of our projects today. And so I'm just going to use a dot of hot glue and then kind of glue it to itself. That way it'll be easy to peel this right off when I am done with it. It was a little bright. One roll did all 3 shelves of my 3-tier tray. And this is one of those big galvanized metal tier trays from Target. And it was a little bright. Once I get it all on there, I do add more ribbon to the top of it. And you'll see that in a minute, just to kind of break up all the blue. But I love adding a little bit of ribbon to the outside of my tier tray because it just brings in more color and more fun to our tier tray. So we got those all 3 attached, and now it's time to stage this tier tray. So for the top, we're going to do that little bicycle pumpkin that says "Give Thanks." And it kind of fits in there barely, but it fits in there on the top. I planned to do a bow on top, but I couldn't really get that to work, so we're just going to leave that like that. And moving on down to our second tier of our tier tray, we have our little Thanksgiving pillow, where I'm going to sit that kind of in the back, along with a little tan velvet pumpkin. That is such a cute pumpkin for the Dollar Tree. They did a really good job on those this year. All kinds of jewel tones in that box. And here is our little blue turkey that says give thanks. And our little stacked pumpkins that say thankful. And we're just going to kind of fill that in. That pretty much fills up our second tier. Then I want to string our little wood beads with the gourd on there. And I'm going to kind of string it around the different things on this tier tray. And I do end up putting the tail up on the top because it was a fairly long wood bead garland. But I'm just kind of arranging it to try to get it the way I like it. And I love the way that little blue turkey turned out. I think it's super cute. And just fiddling with it a little bit more. And moving on down to the third tier of our 3-tier tray. This is the largest shelf. So this nice turkey basket that I got at the thrift store with all of our pumpkins and gourds in it fits very nicely over here on the left side. And here's our little aqua pumpkin that says grateful, thankful, blessed. And our little turkey pumpkin as well that we made with the decoupage of the napkin, the little turkey napkin. And I'm going to kind of sit those over on that side. We have our little wood monogram pumpkin and our turkey from the Dollar Tree that all I did was paint the base aqua, and our little orange and brown pumpkin over here. Then I kind of want to fill up the empty spaces in there, and I'm going to do that with some of this like brownish leaf garland from the Dollar Tree. I probably should have put this down first, but I work with it. I just kind of string it around everything on that shelf and try to fill up any empty spaces without knocking everything over. But I get it kind of all pressed down in there. And it was actually like the perfect length to fill up all of the empty space on that tray and bring in a little fall leaf vibe to go with our Thanksgiving decor. Now the only other thing I do is I add some Dollar Tree ribbon to the burlap. You can see it there. I already had it cut to size because I used that same ribbon on my Halloween tier tray. So I thought I would just reuse it again and put it over the blue burlap. And this is how I have the wood bead garland strung through the second shelf. It goes up to the top. We've got our little give thanks turkey, pumpkins and pillows. Down here on this shelf, we have our little turkey there in front with some Dollar Tree pumpkins, a little thrift find turkey basket. Isn't he precious? I love him. I'm so glad I got that. And then over on the other side, we have our little pumpkin and our turkey pumpkin and our little blue pumpkin back there, which are just some wood pumpkins that I got at the Dollar Tree that I just gave a little bit of a Julie touch. And this is how it all looks together. And I think it turned out really pretty. It's very aqua with all the ribbon on there. But this is kind of how it all looks together. And we are all ready for Thanksgiving here in our household. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit like and don't forget to hit subscribe. Thanks everyone and have a great day. Happy crafting.